What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And man, it feels like I haven't done a live in a minute that hasn't been a watch along. But you know what? It's because Barcelona are playing games every single 3 days. And you know, your boy is already busy. So, on top of that, it's very difficult to do lives. But you know what? We are back. And this time, I'm here with a special guest, right? Making his debut on the channel. Barca Volume, otherwise known as Miguel, right? Barca Volume's his channel. I'm gonna put it in the title. But Miguel, how you doing, man? Tell the people.
So happy to be here with you, man. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and finally we're here. And no better time to do this than coming off a Copa del Rey victory championship against Real Madrid. And hey, what a game, right? What a game we just watched on Wednesday. And now we got a quick turnaround and played on Tuesday. So there's a lot to talk about.
Bro, real talk, like legitimately every single game for Barcelona in the past 3 weeks and also in the next 3 weeks is absolutely vital. You know what I'm saying? It's legitimately crazy, man. Like this season has been wild. It feels like this season feels like almost like 2 seasons. Like, can you believe that remember when we started off so well? Like, remember that I remember the game when we destroyed Bayern 4-1. It's the same season. It's absolutely crazy, man.
You know why it feels like that though? It's just that we haven't been this far, this deep into the Champions League in a long time. And now that we're in it, we know what it's like to play every 3 days, and we know what it's like to have this kind of schedule once you make a deep run into the UCL like we're doing right now.
Yeah, listen, guys. Barca Volume's title, name is in the title now. I don't know if it refreshed for you guys, but listen, ultimately, right? We had two huge games in the last week. Like, don't get it twisted, right? Inter Milan, obviously, we have the second leg, but in this live, we're more so gonna be talking about what just happened, right? The 3-3, right? And honestly, right, we'll get to the Copa del Rey because I haven't got to sit down with Miguel and talk about the Copa del Rey. But let's talk about that Champions League game because for me, you know what it is? I'm not happy with the result. It's 3-3, and ultimately, right? We don't have advantage going into the second leg. That's the problem with me. Even if it was one goal, Inter Milan would have to come out to play, right? But
Hmm.
it's just the fact that, we don't have advantage. That's my problem. Although we did play very good at times. The back line, the defense was shambolic, in my opinion. Not good enough, but hey, bro, it's football. But I trust the guys. That's the thing. I think it's not over. I think we still got it. But what's your thoughts on the first leg, man?
No, man. Like there's a lot of things to say. I think Barcelona took a great punch in the first half. Actually, I thought for the first 20 minutes of the game, I thought Barcelona was in trouble. I thought Barcelona was in shock. The physicality from Inter Milan was very palpable, and it was worrisome. I'm not gonna lie. I was really worried about it. But then again, I forgot we have a 17-year-old kid who can, when the rubber needed to meet the road, when we needed a spark, not Rafinha, not Pedri, not Lewandowski, not Ferran Torres, not Frankie de Jong, it's Lamine freaking Yamal. He's here, and he just posted a Super Saiyan. I don't know if you know what that means, but I'm a millennial, so I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, so I'm a huge fan. So I'm all for what Lamine Yamal just did on Instagram.
Yeah, bro. Lamine Yamal, listen, bro. Like, I'm gonna put it up on the screen. You guys see it's 3-3, but let's be real. Imagine there was no Lamine Yamal. We would be in all sorts of trouble. Imagine we lost the game 3-1. Lamine Yamal, legit. That goal, the first goal was unbelievable. He legit says, nah, not on my watch. Today, we're not losing. Maybe, next year, whenever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But today, the way that he dribbled, like, I seen a lot of people say it's Messi-esque, but I don't like to put the pressure on the kid. But that was serious, bro. Like, he gets the ball from Thuram, he pushes him out the way, and then
Special.
he's just running at Incher, right? He does, the Iniesta move when he just, like puts it from one side to the other quickly, right? And he has the
Yeah.
body fit and he finesses it in. And that's the only part of the game with that Lamine Yamal sometimes lacks. It's that temperament in front of goal. But bro, he's got everything else and more in abundance, right? He
One
has
thing that
creativity.
one thing that a lot of people are not talking about, it's the kind of curves he's putting on the ball. I don't know if I remember who used to do that. No one comes really to mind the way that he curves it, because Messi used to be really accurate, and Messi, he would just look for that really corner of that goal. But Lamine Jamal, he's so close to the post every time. He actually hit the post two or three times in that same game. So it's insane. And I know one of them was it's confirmed. He said it in an interview with Thierry Henry or whatever. He said he was trying to cross, trying to look for Rafinha, and it
Oh
actually
yeah,
hit in the post. But the curve that he puts on it, it's just like no other. But to finish my thought on the game, Barcelona just took the biggest punch you'll ever see. At that moment, in the 25th minute, it doesn't get any worse than at that time 2-0 down 2-0, playing really, really, I mean, kind of suspect, but Barcelona was kind of in control. And what's really, what really frustrated me was that Barcelona had a chance to tie the game, and right off that chance, there's a counter, and off that counter, after that play, there's a set piece, and then it comes in the second goal from Dumfries.
yeah,
And at that point, it was really frustrating because Olmo just had the tie back on the other side, and now we're losing 2-0 when it should
yeah.
be 1-1, and that was the frustrating thing. But hey, this team, it's so crazy, and this is why I'm so confident in this team, because this team has not let me down yet. I was texting with my friend. He's a really, really hardcore Real Madrid fan, and he was texting me as he was watching the game. I was watching the game, each of us in their own homes, and I told him this is a legendary text, because I texted him when it was 2-0. He texted me, "Game over, it's done." And I said, hold on. This team is different. This team can do this.
Exactly. That's a great point. Listen, guys, big up to the chat, by the way, guys. Smash up the likes. Listen, guys, smash up the likes, guys. It pushes it to new people, right? Support my guy, Barca Volume. I think you guys would probably see his face more often. But listen, ultimately, down 2-0 to Inter Milan is a death note. And also when you consider that what's it called? We're down 2-0 to Inter Milan at home. The second leg's away from home, right? And we need to, at worst, a draw is not that bad. You know what I'm saying? At that point, let's be real. When you're
Right.
down 2-0, you take a draw, right? That's the reason why I'm like, I understand it. I'm also coming from an angle that, you know what? We don't have an advantage. But I kind of like that. Remember the game against Dortmund?
Oh
When
my God.
we,
I'm gonna miss
bro,
that.
that I don't like when the Barcelona players they don't try their absolute best. Well, now we're forced to, and when Barcelona, right? Remember when Atletico Madrid, we were up 4-2. Atletico Madrid, they score 2 goals straight away at the end, right? Sorloth, I think, tied it. It was 4-4. We go to the Wanda Metropolino, right? And we absolutely dominate. We only get 1 goal. But you know what? I like that the players, there's no advantage. There's no cockiness. I think that might actually be a good thing. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it might be. But before you say something on that, right? Let me just read the chat. I don't want to ignore the
Yeah.
people,
Yeah. Of
right?
course.
Making time for your day, guys. I'll read some of the chats, not all of them, but I'm not trying to disturb the flow of obviously the show. But listen, this is a good comment. Big up Rafe, by the way. I think our team's mentality right now is going to be key to what happens in the second leg. I absolutely agree. Because if this was Barca 3 or 4 years ago, we would have kept crumbling after 2-0 from Dumfries. If that was Barca 2 years ago, we lose that game 3-0. You know, part of it, yeah, we have the quality. We have Pedri who can pick out a pass, and we have Lamine Yamal, who I don't know what you think. I think he's the best player in the world. I know some people will say Mbappe. Some people will say even Raphinha. I think Lamine Yamal, he's the only guy in the world, I feel like, that could score against Inter and do that performance like that. Like, it was unbelievable, bro.
And
That
it was reported that he had something on his leg. He wasn't going to play. I was freaking out before the game at that moment. If we don't have Lamine Jamal for that game because he was injured during practice, and that 2-0, I think it would have been over. Not having Lamine Yamal in the first half to get that goal, that was so important, that was so methodical and so clinical at that moment in the game when we needed a spark. He did that, and if we didn't have him, would have been game over.
Yeah, you know what? I genuinely think that like this guy, Van Lee, big up you all the time, right? He also says that it kind of pans out exactly like the Atletico Madrid Copa del Rey semi. The thing is, I do respect Inter Milan. I actually think that Inzaghi is a better manager right now than Simeone. Inzaghi is legit Simeone in his prime, where that's what he is. But I do think that Barca, I think we're gonna win very, very close ball game. But I think you know what? Imagine if Lamine Yamal, right, and also Pedri didn't bring us back into that game.
Yeah,
Guys, you don't understand. The reason why I'm not, you're probably like 3-3. Why are you celebrating? I'm saying, well, at least the tie is not over now because Barcelona 3 years ago, right, even last year, we lose that game 2-3, maybe even a 4-1, something like
we
that.
we were
That's
gonna lose that game. They were ahead twice. It was a 3-2. They made it 3-2 in the second half. And guess what? We still came out and tied the game with a Rafinha. That's a banger. And the fact that Lamine Yamal was the one. Did you see the video? Like Lamine Yamal is literally telling Rafinha it's literally setting him up for the screen before the Olmo pass even started. And so that goes to show you the kind of leadership that Lamine Yamal, and he was all going like this when Inter scored, like
yeah,
trying to push
yeah.
the team, trying to push the fans and everything.
Yeah, this is a great comment. This guy Rafai, right? By the way, can we appreciate Yamal's ability to grab a game by the scruff of his neck and bring his team back? He did it at the Euros versus France. He does it against Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup. He did it against Inter Milan, right? It's an absolute fact. I think Lamine Yamal, the best part about him, like, people say, I don't like Lamine Yamal. And by the way, I said it's a hot take not too long ago. I think that the media eventually will not like Lamine Yamal because he speaks a lot. They didn't like, keep in mind, Barca Volume, they did not like Neymar, who didn't speak out. He didn't speak out loud to the public as much, right?
Hmm.
Neymar was just
Hmm.
a party guy, but he was quiet. He was relatively a modest guy. You know what I'm saying? Lamine
Hmm.
Yamal will let you know that he's coming. He'll change his Instagram. He'll post before the game. He'll talk a lot about how he's going to beat you, and then he's going to deliver. So sooner or later, people are not going to like that, but he's absolutely big time. The day that I realized when he scored that goal against France in the Euros, and I was like, there's no way. I was like, yo, this kid's special. And he's been proving
Hmm.
me right every single time.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Yeah, I predicted on TikTok, was like a year ago. I said that Lamine Yamal was going to be the youngest player to win a Ballon d'Or because he just everything that a can player would have that can win a Ballon d'Or, and he has it right now here at 17 freaking years old. And people like rushed to the comments and were telling me that I'm crazy, were telling me that I'm stupid, and guess what? Now they're nowhere to be found when Lamine Yamal is having the kind of season. And honestly, the fact that we had him was just huge. And then, like I said, we took their punch. We took two punches, and then in the second half, we took another punch, and then we came back. And as I was saying on the Will's show, I am extremely confident that Barcelona is going to win this game. It's history, and this team is on a mission. This team, it feels like a Cinderella story. This is our year, and I can feel it. I can feel that. I know there's a lot of things. There's a lot of doubt, and there's a lot of mentality that Oh, let me ask you something. Let's say you're Inter fan, right? Now you're like you've been rooting for Inter since your whole life. So are you happy that you're 3-3 right now?
You know what it is with Inter? I think that you know what? Inter overall will be okay with it because they'll be like, yo, technically, right? We got the draw, and that's what we wanted. But it's just that they probably thought, you know what? we could have won this game had we defended better. But there was nothing that they could really do about it. I feel like that all of our goals were spectacular. We didn't. That's the thing about Inter. I give respect to Inter that they made us work for every single goal that we got. My problem with the 3-3 on our part is that Inter Milan, they didn't really have to work that hard for their goals. Yes, a set pieces organization from the training pitch. I think it's very, very avoidable. Their 2 goals. That's my problem. And we can't be giving away goals in the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? I think we could fix that though. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely fix that. But remember, we're going to also talk about the Clásico later in this live. We also conceded a goal off a Tchouameni header, right? We cannot just – we've been good at defending corners all year long, and now in the biggest time of the season, are we going to, crumble to corner kicks? I'm like, come on, that's not a good way to go out. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. No, like I said, they know what to do. They know how to play. They know their set pieces is a strength that they have. But, Barcelona, also Real Madrid, give them credit. Real Madrid, Tchouameni, Rüdiger, they score a lot of goals too. So sometimes it's not so much about you; it's about other teams imposing their will. And I thought that Inter came out and give them credit. They came out, they imposed their will, they used their size. Barcelona was in shock, but we had a guy, Lamine Yamal. He was the one who brought the team back, united the troops, and now I think if I'm an Inter fan, I am hating life right now because this Barca team has a track record scoring a lot of goals. And we had them on the ropes 2-0 away from home.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and
true.
and the fact that even after they tie the game, if you're looking at it from their perspective, it's like they tie the game. We made adjustments in the second half. We scored another goal, and still they found a way to tie the game. So I feel like we had a great game, and we still couldn't walk away with a win, even though we're coming at home or grounds or whatever. Still feels like they should have left this Barcelona city with at least a 1-0. It does feel to me like the Arsenal game. I thought the Arsenal to have a really good chance to in the series. I thought they had to win the first game. And Barcelona, in the other side, I don't feel like they needed to win that game. I don't feel like they needed that. I feel like Inter is the team that needed to win it to have a better chance in the second leg, because I think Barcelona can replicate exactly everything they did in the first game. They can bring it to the next game. I don't know if Inter can replicate scoring of set pieces and imposing their bodies and their
Yeah.
physicality, and just being counting that 3 shots is going to amount to 2 shots
It's
is going to amount to 2 goals.
It's gonna be tough for sure, but you know what? We spoke about the first leg, right? My thoughts, like I thought, it's not a good result, but it could have been a disastrous result. So we move on, right? I think we can
Hmm.
still beat them ultimately, and I think we got the best player in the world. Ultimately, that's where my confidence is from. At least we didn't get a nightmare result. That's what I'm saying.
Hmm.
We fixed it to at least make it very manageable. Because if we lose 3-0, it's game over, right? It's definitely game over, But listen, let's move on to the second leg because, guys, listen in the chat. Are you guys confident for that second leg, right? Hey, don't be shy. Let me know your feelings because for me, the second leg, I'm confident, strangely confident. I wouldn't be confident if it was a 1-1, I would feel like. But the fact that we scored a 3-3, we scored against them 3 times. You know what I'm saying? That's where my confidence, you know what? We can beat this team. It's going to be hard, but we definitely can, right? I think before you go, Barca Volume, this guy says two very good chats. Rafai said we need to be really careful with set pieces at San Siro. Absolutely. That's the thing. We need to fix up on the set pieces if we want to win this game because Inter Milan, honestly, the counterattack, yeah, it looked dangerous, but they always messed up that last pass or something, a flick. The 2 goals that they scored from the set pieces, I don't know why, but it felt like it was coming, and we need to fix that. And also, Barca Volume, before you go, this is a very good comment. I didn't know this. Barca has failed to score only 2 times this season. Leganés and Real Sociedad, right? It was Leganés at home and Real Sociedad away. We have scored in every other game. So I think we score at least one. In my opinion, I see us scoring 2 goals there. I don't know about 3, but I see 2 goals. But my thing is, I don't know. Can we prevent them from scoring? But
Hmm.
listen, how are you feeling about the second leg?
So the second leg, look, there's a few things that happened on the first leg for me to be really, really confident. And one thing I haven't said, that I only said it in my channel, is that Inter is a battle tested team. They played against Bayern. They also, if I'm not mistaken, they played Arsenal as well. So no team in the UCL limited Inter Milan the way Barca limited Inter Milan. So Inter Milan had 217 passes, right? So they've been averaging close to 400, 450. So they were limited to half. And no other team in the UCL has been able to neutralize also all the through passes and progression passes that are extremely important throughout the whole game. They also were limited in the game like no other game. So the Barca midfielder, that was kind of like I was a little scared of this Inter midfield, because they play you with the three
Yeah,
five. They play you with the 3-5, so they clog up the middle. So they really wanted to suffocate Barca. They really wanted to try to fight the middle of the field. They just couldn't do that. They only had like a 20% possession. So, and not only that, but they were really limited as far as progression passes. They were really limited as far as passes they could make. You can see them even in the second half. They were trying to like connect 3 to 4 passes, was extremely hard for them. So as far as the second leg, I expect Barca to just come out and start controlling the game from the beginning. Avoid what's going to be really important for Barcelona. It's just going to be avoid early goals, because we have been doing that. We've been having a tendency to start off games
yeah, and too
losing
many
by 1-0.
times.
And it
Too many
happened
times.
again. It happened again, and it tends to happen at the beginning of the game and at the beginning of the second half. And that's been a pattern for Barca all in a lot of games, and it really showed in the last game we played against Inter. So if we can just avoid getting scored in the first 10 minutes of the game, getting scored in the first 10 minutes of the second half, I think this game's going to be in control, and it's just going to be a matter of time before Barca scores a goal and starts to control the game even more.
Yeah, listen, I mean, ultimately, bro, like, hey, big up Layla, big up Van Lee, right? The Pedri situation of him starting. We're gonna talk about that towards the end of this live stream, so just make sure to stay tuned. But we still got a couple more topics. But hey, Barca Volume, there's a question for you. Can I get a Barca Volume opinion on Lamine Yamal wearing the number 10 jersey basically next year? I mean, do you think that he's gonna be you think that he can handle the number 10? I think he's good enough, but I want him to be number 19 for one more year. I want him to get the number 10 when he's like
No,
19,
no, no,
20.
no, 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 no. This is the time. This is the time. The only reason why he wasn't number 10 this season is because there was a report that came out. He respected Ansu Fati because he was still, and he said, as long as Ansu Fati is still in the team, I think they're pretty good friends. And I said, as long as Ansu Fati is still in the team, I'm not going to wear number 10. So as far as the pressure situation, I think Lamine Yamal has shown early at 17 years old there he doesn't let the pressure get to him. If there's a player who can or rain or shine or whatever, he is going to show up, and he's not afraid. When I saw that Lamine Yamal, what he did in the Euro Cup with that golazo in front of that guy who was talking crap about him and all that, he wasn't all that. After
Bro,
that,
I'm
I
not
was like,
gonna lie to you.
I was
I'm
like,
not gonna lie to you. Yo, my bad, bro, for cutting you off. But bro, Lamine Yamal is a bad man. Guys, listen,
bad man, bad
this guy
man.
is problems. I'm telling you, I've
Oh
never
my,
listen. I
he's
love
a
Rafinha,
mamba,
all
dude.
the
He's a
players on the
mamba.
team. But if there's a guy, he talks his talks, he's gonna post on Instagram a day before the game, and he's gonna deliver. I'm telling you. And then he's got drip, he's got swagger. Bro, I genuinely love everything about this kid. Ansu is more shy, and
Yeah.
he's not really a dribbler. Lamine's different, bro.
And we
Lamine's
have bulletin board
actually fast.
material. Did you hear? Do we have bulletin board material from Lamine Jamal? They asked Dumfries. He won the man of the match. They asked
Yeah,
him if
yeah.
Lamine Jamal was the best player in the world. He said no. He said Mbappe and
No, that
Dembele.
was Turam. That was Turam. Turam
That
said
was
that.
that Thuram. Okay, one of them.
Yeah, that
But
was
somebody
Turam. He said
they were asked.
Dembele and he said Mbappe, which is listen. You know what? Dembele is having a good year. Mbappe, are you crazy, bro? This is the guy that Lamine Yamal has. I think he's beaten Mbappe the last 4 times in a row. Like, come on, bro. Like in the NBA, that would be a playoff sweep. Like, let's be
But
real. Come
but
on, man.
regardless, if we have Ansu Fati, Lamine Jamal has to be the number 10. We need a number 10. We need a player that all the team can rally around him, and we can see he's our leader, he's our guy. just like Messi used to do. He used to rally the troops. He used to be that guy. Always, always, always. And we need to have Lamine Yamal to have that responsibility, and we know that he can do it, and he will do it. And I think he will be the number 10 next season for sure.
Yeah. Yo, hey, big up Layla. I'll probably ask questions maybe 5 minutes at the end. I kind of want it to be structured. And I also, y'all will probably like this. Let's move on and let's talk about, right? Because all the Real Madrid fans, they thought I wasn't going to talk to you about that El Clasico, because we got to talk about that El Clasico, because we're going to have a Barca talk for the El Clasico. What's
Oh
a
my
game
God.
for a neutral? And for a Barca fan, unlike the Inter Milan game, we won this game. We won a cup. And you know what's the craziest part? Like, this game was unbelievable, but Jules Koundé, are you kidding me? I was like, Jules Koundé was the most unlikely guy to hit a long shot, and he's the one who hit it. And I loved his celebration. He just kept running, bro. He doesn't even have. It's not like Yamal. Yamal has a planned celebration. Lewandowski has a planned celebration.
He didn't know what to do.
He didn't know what to do. Koundé just hit that shot and hoped, and it was just his lucky day. He didn't know what to do, man. But what are you saying about that El Clasico, man?
Oh my God, man. You have no idea all the emotions. Like, if this was a script, if I would have written a script for you and said this is going to happen, you would have thought that I'm like sick in my head or something, because all the things that happened in this game and the way it turned out, it was like a perfect movie. This is literally a movie. This is literally like, okay, we're we start the game right. Then, Real Madrid ties the game. They go up 2-1. It's like this, it's like the 77th minute or something like that. And then Barca ties it like 5 minutes before the end of that game on that crazy run from Ferran Torres. And that's his bread and butter, man. When I saw him going up against Rüdiger on that play, I literally blacked out. I didn't know who passed the ball, but I'm just like watching and the emotions. Dude, you have no idea. Like, I was second guessing myself when it was 2-1. I'm not going to lie. Even with this team, even with the kind of comebacks that we have been doing, I was still second guessing myself. I'm like, Real Madrid, you freaking bastards, you freaking did it again. Even though you guys are not, playing well this season, you still were managing to win this Copa del Rey. But Lamine Yamal puts an incredible pass. Ferran Torres, bread and butter, he takes on.
That was unbelievable.
Rüdiger had no chance. He's on one leg. So he had
you know
no
what's
chance.
crazy, bro? Like, that actual game, Real Madrid, legitimately, they did the best that they can, and they still didn't win. They went with a diamond. They dropped one of the big three, right? Mbappe, Vini, Rodrigo, right? Ancelotti, they tried their absolute best. They had tired legs also, but Real Madrid at their best, because that's the best we can see Real Madrid. I don't think they're going to play as good. If we lose that Clásico in La Liga, it's going to be down to us, not Real Madrid. Real Madrid plays as good as they can, and we still beat them. And the way that we beat them was unreal. Pedri, bro, listen, I don't know much Spanish, but I know a bit. Que golazo, bro. Listen, Pedri, are you kidding me?
What a goal. My God.
Oh, my God. Because they told me he couldn't shoot. They told me he couldn't shoot. Man.
I could not believe it, but it was in big part. It was in big part by Jude Bellingham walking back the pitch, and also Rodrigo was walking back the pitch, and Pedri was just jogging. He was just jogging, and he made a long pass to Lamine Yamal down the right, and he just jogging it out. He wasn't really sprinting, and I thought maybe even Pedri thought he was maybe going to make something playmaking, or he was just going to dribble and try to take a shot. But then he just noticed that nobody was around him, and I think Lamine Yamal saw that three players went. All three players. It was Valverde. It was Fran Garcia, and I think it was Tchouaméni who was trying to close the gap, and everybody just went with him. And that's one of the things that Lamine Yamal will do for you. He will bring all the marks wide open. Pedri Gonzalez just takes a huge shot, and I think Courtois,
it was legit,
nothing he could do.
Bro. And, bro, this guy said Jude got his chain snatched by Pedri. That's crazy. But also, Reno, listen, Inter Milan, I know you're a Juve fan. You want Barca to beat Inter. We got you. But you know what? Inter, credit to them. They came out with the result. Fair enough. But going back to the Clásico, man, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, Mbappe free kick. off the post. I can't really blame anybody because initially you think Frankie, he does a good play, right? Because he stops a counterattack. Oh, Mbappe would have shot it, right? It's a 50-50 if he scores. I'll be real because it's just Mbappe and Chesney. And then you think that it's the right decision. And then I feel like the wall placement wasn't that good. And Mbappe scores. And I can't really blame Chesney for that because it's in off the post. So he legit shot it perfect. Even if it's near post, in off the post is very difficult, guys. I'm not going to lie. And then on top of that, 7 minutes later, Tchouaméni, a corner kick. And I was like, guys, that's not acceptable. I was thinking, yo, we've completely blown the treble. What's up with this team? I was like, come on. And I legit remember, I'll quote myself. I said, if this team has anything about them, if they think, if they think what I think they are or potentially could be at the end of the season, right? Maybe not win a treble, but win 3 out of the big 4, right? Trophies. I'm like, you get a goal and you force it to extra time at least. Legit, 5 minutes later, Lamine Yamal, nothing was on. He plays the perfect. And guys, this is why I say football. People don't realize how big quality is. The way to pass on that Ferran pass, he puts in between Courtois and Rüdiger. Only Ferran could get it. And it's the perfect goal. And Ferran, oh my word. I thought Ferran was going to bottle the chance maybe, but I was so happy. Remember against Atletico?
He hit it really soft. He really soft. That ball was asking to stay, dude. That ball was asking to stay.
Bro, legit, the earth slowed down when Ferran shot that. Guys, when legit, the earth slowed down when Ferran shot that ball. I thought Rüdiger was going to get it, but man, like legit, Barcelona, you need a little bit of luck, right? And then you know what's the reaction? You know when I realized this is a proper cup final? The reaction to the Ferran goal. You saw the whole bench of Barcelona celebrate that goal, man. But I mean, what were you thinking at that time? You know what I'm saying?
No, dude, at that time, I was running around my living room like 3 laps, and I was just screaming and screaming, and my wife thought I was crazy. And it's just what happened, which is the emotion of Barcelona, because this is the year, like I said, Cinderella story, man. This is Barcelona's to lose. Barcelona, I think I have a feeling that Barcelona does win the treble this year, and it's in part because of these moments. We were able to bring it back. And at that point, when Barca came back, you can see it in their eyes. Madrid was shocked. Madrid was freaked out. Madrid knew we had just taken their best punch. And once that game was 2-2, going into overtime was going to be a climb for this Real Madrid, who has been, a lot of players are tired. A lot of players were their physical abilities were not there at the end of the match, and also some players were on one leg, like we saw with Rüdiger, and they just didn't have the bodies to go punch for punch. And I actually thought that this Real Madrid actually had the advantage against Barca in PKs. So I was praying. I was praying for Barca to make something happen on the field. I'm like, come on, guys. We got one more. We got one more. We need to have somebody who's fresh, somebody who can make a run on Rüdiger, somebody who can do something. And man, something we did, and it was Lucas Modric on stealing the ball from, I think it was Raphinha at the time, and tried to connect with Brahim Diaz. And Brahim Diaz is the ultimately who makes the biggest mistake out of the two, in my opinion, because he's just waiting, and he was fresh. He was subbed for Vinicius Jr. And then you cannot allow a right back, bro. You cannot allow a right back to run all the way down the pitch and steal that ball from you. You're in the middle of the field, and a player who just played 115 minutes, he's going to beat you to that ball and just takes a big shot, just wide open, man. And Real Madrid basically just standing and just going and turning like this, just hoping the ball hits your body. You have to approach the shot taker. That's another mistake that Real Madrid nobody's talking about. When somebody's gonna shoot, you can't just turn your body and hope the ball hits your body. You gotta approach the player who's actually taking the shot.
Yeah, dude. Like, listen, bro. I'll be real. I'm not gonna lie. This is my thing, right? With the Inter Milan result, like when I see things like this, like our comeback versus Atletico, we're down 2-0. We score 4 straight at Atleti, by the way, who they were parking the bus, and we score 4 straight, right? And then also on top of that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, when I see that game and I see Jules Koundé, guys, I said it. Koundé is the guy that when I saw Koundé and it was like a 4-on-3 for Barca, I'm like, pass to Yamal.
Yeah.
Please pass to Yamal as quick as possible, right? Because Yamal had space to do something. But it's like, I don't know. There's something about this season that all the games that last season we were drawing or losing in the last second. Remember that Villarreal 3-5 game? That was like a nightmare. Bro, this season has been absolutely magical. Like, even in games where we find it tough, like
Mm-hmm.
Celta Vigo, last minute penalty, a smart play from Olmo, we score a last minute winner, right? Also, on top of this, the Jules Koundé, are you kidding me? When Jules Koundé scores an absolute banger, you
Yeah.
know something is in the air. And I was like, yo, I can't lie. Hansi Flick, I have to credit this, okay? Because, guys, I'll read the chat, by the way, in a second. And also, we have almost 60 people in the building. Guys, legitimately, subscribe to your boy. Listen, I think we're 40 off of something like that, 40 off of 900. Guys, at least 15 of you guys haven't subscribed. I already know. So subscribe if you are new. Listen, content legit 3-4 times a week. And let me get back to this, right? Bro, when I see things like this, I have to credit the manager. Because Barca volume. Barca's Xavi's Barca. You know what? The first year we had some type of belief. Not like this. We
Not
did
like
not
this.
have this sort of belief. We actually, the quote, fight until the last minute. We actually fight until the last minute. I know it's a quote in football, and Madrid fans, they use it. Bro, this is the first time since Enrique that I feel like this Barca team on any given day can come back, when things are going south. And when we're flying, we're flying. So it's good regardless. You know what I'm saying? The game is not over. I like this team. And that is ultimately why I want this specific team. I think they deserve the treble, but
Yeah.
will they get it is a different question.
Yeah,
But
I know. Well, it's crazy to me. I think that and this is just my opinion, with this Barca team, I think it's not just that we are doing this mastering these comebacks. I think this Barca team just plays unfazed for 90 minutes, and they are going to suffocate you. They are going to play you until the last whistle, and it has nothing to do with the fact that Inter Milan, you get 2 goals in the first half. It does not matter if you don't get it. Like, this Barca team scores 2 to 3 goals per game, and sometimes 4 or 5 goals per game. And I think in many instances we do comebacks because we are, because not just because the defense is bad or why not. It's just that sometimes other teams play too, and sometimes they make great plays and they'll score. But it does not matter, because this Barca team, when they're losing or they're winning, it's unfazed, and they're gonna keep coming at you. And Barca is like, okay, you can score 1 goal, okay, you can score 2 goals, okay, can you score 3? Okay, can you score 4? Because we are just going to keep coming at you for 90 minutes, and we're going to get, 3 or 4 or 5 goals. And that is the difference. It's not just like, it reminds me of other seasons from Real Madrid where they were really the king of comebacks. They were just scambagging. Like, that's just like what they did with
yeah,
with
yeah,
with,
yeah,
with
yeah.
Manchester City, where they play all the way back. They played you all the way back, and they hit you with their counters. That's all they wanted to do. It worked for them. Give them credit. But they were winning games where they were not playing their best. This Barca team, they do comebacks, but they do them playing their best. It's just like they did with Inter Milan. They play better than Inter. They dominated Inter. This game should have been like 5-3, 5-4-3, and it's just because this Barca team just keeps coming, and just keeps coming. That's why
Yeah.
I'm so confident, even going at the Giuseppe Meazza on Tuesday.
Hey, yo, listen, big up Flawless, right? Sarcasm City TV for the raid. Big up to you, bro. Real talk. I respect it, man. Guys, legitimately, man, this guy said a perfect comment. Koundé became a legend that night. Because you know what I said? I said, Pedri's going to have another great El Clasico. I already know.
Iniestazo, right?
Bro, listen, Pedri and Lamine Yamal will have moments in El Clasico. But guys, when I'm talking about a player that I don't know if he's going to have this moment again, it's Jules Koundé, right? Like Declan Rice, that Madrid game. You don't know if that's going to happen, if you're going to have the spotlight like that for a
We'll
week.
never forget
Jules
this.
Koundé, on top of it, it's low-key better than Declan Rice because it contributed to a trophy directly in a final versus
On a
Real Madrid.
3-2, it doesn't get any better. It's like, I will remember 10 years from now exactly what I did when he scored that goal. That's just how iconic this goal is. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not going to
I
lie.
know that's actually iconic. That's up there. And I think, honestly, for a neutral who's a great El Clasico, for me, that was very nervy, bro. I'm not going to lie. I thought that, if anything, I thought Real Madrid might have won it, but Flick has changed the mentality, right? Before I get to the chat, 1 second, guys. Listen, how you reacting to this comment right here? Let me highlight it. He said one complaint that I have about Hansi Flick this season is that he's rigid. He's very rigid as a coach in terms of his tactics. Shouldn't he be a little bit more adaptable in terms of way he fields his team? You know what? I kind of agree with this at times. I think that, but what's it called? Barcelona, sometimes, we have a very good counterattack, right? Like this
Mm-hmm.
Hansi Flick he's made a Barcelona team that has a lethal counterattack. I'm like, you know what? If we're up against Inter and we score the first goal, let them come on to us. And Raphinha is a nightmare on the counter. In possession, so. Like, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. But on the counterattack, Raphinha is phenomenal. That is where he makes his money, Lamine Yamal is such a good passer on the counter, right? To Ferran Torres, that goal that he scored against Real Madrid. On the counterattack, we have options, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, that's why if we score, I don't know if we should always dominate. It's hard to press. Anybody who's played football, it's hard to press 90 minutes straight all the time. It's very tough. That's where I think Hansi Flick, if we take the lead, you know what? Don't be opposed if later in the game, 70th minute, 60th minute, let them come on to us. Bam, second goal. Because I don't think they can deal with our break on the speed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand this point, and the best way I can explain it is I think we all Barca fans, we all have the same frustrations. Even though we appreciate what Hansi Flick has done, we all feel like he should be a little bit more adaptable. But however, I do think that he played a really, really methodical game plan against Atletico Madrid in the second leg. And it goes to what you're saying, Jonas. You said if
Yeah.
we score one goal, so that's exactly what Barca came out to do in that game. They actually get the goal early in the first half, and they start controlling the game. They were not playing as they would have with such a high line, so to speak, right? They were staying back. That we put in Araujo. We were playing. We were waiting for Atletico Madrid to see what they have. Can they steal the ball? Can they attack? Can they propose? Can
Yes.
they impose their will? And I think that Hansi Flick learned his lesson on that first leg against Atletico Madrid. And I think I think we give it too. I think we give that too much credit to the fact that he doesn't make changes, or that he does do changes. Sometimes they're not as noticeable. And like he has said before, we want to play. This is our style of play. And why do we score so much? Because basically the whole team, it's clogging up the opponent's middle of the field. The whole field, Barcelona plays on your half.
Yeah.
Barcelona does not play on their half. They're gonna push their CBs. They're gonna push their backs, and everybody's going up. And we are putting 10 guys in your half, and see, that's how we come on with Lamine Yamal. That's how we come on with Raphinha. That's how we create. That's how we do this with even the Baldes of the world, the Koundés of the world. That's the attack, and that's the only reason why we can score so much, is because we have the high line to. That's the style that Hansi Flick wants to play, and he said it before
Yeah.
that this is the style, this is what we do, and if
Yeah.
you can stop us, you can stop us. It has worked so far
And you
until
know
it
what?
hasn't worked.
You know what? This is the thing, Rafi, because you made some very good comments in the chat, by the way. I can tell this guy has ball knowledge. But the thing is, right? I think that Hansi Flick will be like, yo, you don't like my style? You guys haven't been this competitive for how long? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's what's got us here.
Yeah,
So Hansi
yeah.
Flick, I do agree. This is the one thing. I think you can start off the game with that approach of being, pedal to the metal. We're going to go hard. We're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
play this type of football. I'm just saying, if we're up, why not make it easy for us? If like, when other teams sometimes that are actually going toe to toe with us, they sit back, right? Like Celta Vigo, they scored first and they sit back, you know what I'm saying, when they have the lead, and then the counterattack is deadly. I think we should do that a little bit for Inter Milan. If we score maybe 1, 2, if we score one goal and it's 70th minute, there's no reason to go gun ho for the second. Let them come a little bit, and they cannot deal with Raphinha on the break. I don't believe that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
actually think that Liverpool changed their game plan tailored to PSG, and it bite them in the ass. They couldn't get past PSG because they started playing more defense rather than playing offense. And the whole year they were playing offense, and they changed, they switched, and PSG just ran through them, and they were just lucky to win the first leg. And then what happened in the second leg? PSG gets a goal. They tried to bring their guys, pin their guys back, and they couldn't get another goal. They went to PKs, and guess what? PSG goes through. So you gotta
Yeah.
win by the sword,
Right.
live by the sword,
You
live and
know
die.
what? Hey, listen. Ultimately, I mean, let's end off with this because I no, we do. We're not ending. We got a lot of topics still. We still got like the injuries that I want to discuss. I want to talk about that Real Valladolid game because there's some rumors. But before we move on to that, let's talk about right now. What is your confidence level for also? Because just a couple days later, guys, I'm gonna make a video about this very soon. By the way, we have a game versus Real Madrid, which is almost like another cup final. Like, how are you feeling about that game? Because I have confidence that we win that game. And honestly, I wish that this game was played like a month ago because we would have won. You know what I'm saying? I really
Mhm.
believe that. But it's just that if we lose to Inter, right? I don't know, I feel like that this might be the worst time for Barcelona to crumble against Real Madrid. But at the same time, I feel like it's a different year. I think Hansi Flick has truly changed the mentality of this team, right? I think that regardless, I feel confident for Real Madrid. I genuinely do. I think, you know what? Play to win. I think we'll get the win, right? They've tried to play every single type of way to beat us. They haven't done so. Let's be real, right? It feels like Barcelona and Real Madrid have flipped from last year where we couldn't beat them regardless of how good we can play, right? And it's the opposite this year. I think we beat Real Madrid. I'm confident for that game. The Inter game, so I'm still confident, but it's more, you know what I'm saying, like a level playing field. But how are you feeling about that El Clasico? Because that is a season decider. We either wrap up La Liga or it's gonna be we fight till La Liga till the final day. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, so my feelings on that game, I feel like Real Madrid is giving up before our very eyes for this year. They're literally breaking down. Rüdiger already got the surgery. Um, a lot of stories are coming out. Alaba and their whole situation, basically their entire backline right now, it's wounded. They're bringing
Yes,
in players from La Fabrica or whatever they call it. So I don't think that it worries me so much. I feel like I will be able to say more things on La Liga after this game against Celta de Vigo, because Celta de Vigo is a legit team. They gave us a lot of troubles, and they gave Real Madrid a lot of troubles in the Copa del Rey. They got robbed in that game. They got robbed in the Copa del Rey. Real Madrid went through, but there was a couple of questionable calls. It had not been for that, I think Celta de Vigo goes through instead of Real Madrid to the Copa del Rey. So to answer your question, I don't think I'm so worried because we have already beat them 3 times. And I know, right? Everybody wants to talk about the law of averages. It's so hard. But to me,
yes, sir.
it's so silly to think that because you beat a team 3 times, you cannot beat them 4 times. If a team is better than you 3 times, they're better than you
It's
four
hard. It's
times.
very hard.
And it's very hard, but at the same time, it's like the logic to me is like a basketball game. It's like, no, if a team is better than you, if 3 times, 4 times, it's still, they're going to beat you either way. So unless you get complacent, then
Yeah.
things can change. But Barca and Hansi Flick has shown that this team does not get as complacent, especially we're so close to the end of the season, and it's not even the end of the world. Like if we win this game coming up against Valladolid and we lose against Real Madrid, we are still ahead in La Liga.
Yeah, hold up. Yo, big up, right? We got another raid. This is phenomenal, guys. I can't even lie. Big up to, I think it's Aaron Talks Arsenal, my guy Aaron, right? I've been on his channel a couple times. Big Arsenal fan, right? Listen, big up, Aaron. Guys, if you are new, once again, smash the likes and also subscribe to the channel. Hey, if you follow anything about Barca, we got some good content on this channel. And also, Barca Volume, his name is in the title, right? But listen, subscribe if you're new. But listen, Aaron, big up, respect. Thanks for the support. But respect. Let's get straight into this though, because I do want to talk about the injuries. Because right here, I'm gonna show you on the screen, guys. Jules Koundé, he's gone injured, and the guy who was just a hero and we were talking about, he's injured for a crucial part of the season. I don't think he's gonna make the semis, it's impossible. Hamstring. He's not playing until the UCL final, maybe 1 or 2 La Liga games before that, if he recovers well. But outside of the last game of the season in La Liga and the Champions League, which would be the last 2 games of the season, I don't think, right? I really don't think that Koundé, we're going to see him because, and you know what? How big is this blow? Because we got Eric Garcia, we got Hector Fort. None of them have really been trusted like Jules Koundé. The way Koundé connects with Lamine Yamal is truly special. But listen, what are you saying about Jules Koundé? Because I'm kind of disappointed for him to be injured at this point.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but not gonna lie. But I will say this: if there's a player that we can bring in is Eric Garcia, and he's done really 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 well. He did that in the La Liga game. He did that when Koundé got injured, and he played actually really really well. And the one thing I have to say is that it's a matchup thing for me. If we were playing, let's say, Atletico Madrid, or we were playing PSG right now for the second leg, I will be really, really worried. But the thing is, with Inter Milan, I'm not so worried about their wingers. I am not so worried about their speed as much as I am with another team like PSG, and the fact that we can have Eric Garcia, who has shown, and even Hansi Flick said he said it himself. I am so surprised of how good Eric Garcia play as a right back.
He's been good. He's been good.
He's
As a
been
role player, I always said Eric as a role player is actually a little bit solid. But you know what? Keep him as long as Flick is here because Flick knows how to get the best out of him. If it was Xavi, I would have said sell him.
He
But
got
Flick
the
is
assist
getting
on
the best
Dani
out of him.
Olmo. He got the assist on Dani Olmo in La Liga game. That
He
was
was
a
good.
very important. Yeah, so he got that assist, and on his first game that he played as a right back, he got an assist. So he was very, very good. So I'm not so worried as I would with having Gerard Martin as a left back instead of Balde. Right, that's a huge drop off. So I don't think having what I do worry. Of not having Koundé more than anything is his size, and I just think we need a lot of size against Inter Milan, who has shown in the box when they're doing crosses, when they're doing corner kicks, that is a little
Yeah, yeah,
worrisome.
yeah.
But
And Koundé is a good defender. That's the thing. You know what it is? People think that because he's a center back, he can't go forward. You know what? His crossing, honestly, in my opinion, I believe that it's more consistent than
yeah,
Balde's. But
hmm
Koundé is a good defender. That's the reason why he plays. He's technically competent. He's not a world
hmm
beater. I'll be real. But these players who are just like plug the gaps and they do it well. They just do their role well. And the way
yeah,
that he also connects with Yamal, he's got chemistry. I think it's a loss. But listen,
for
it is
sure.
what do you think about this comment though? He said Hector Ford, big up Yusuf, by the way, all the time, bro. But Hector Ford, I don't think he's gonna trust Hector Ford at like I'll be real. I'll be so real. I don't think he's gonna trust the manager, right? The gaffer, as English people would say. I don't think that he's gonna play Hector Ford in the big games. Maybe in La Liga 1-2 times. I can see him maybe against Villarreal, maybe against the game right now that we're about to talk about for like
Yeah,
5-6 minutes, Valladolid. But I think it's going to be Eric Garcia on the right for now. That's what genuinely gut feeling. That's what I feel like.
yeah. So I think that Hector Ford will start tomorrow on the right. So he'll have another opportunity to make his case, but I don't see that kid, Hansi Flick, putting that kid in that spotlight. Not like that. And what if he makes a mistake? And so that's the thing. Like we don't realize the humanity of things sometimes. So if you have, let's say, Hector Ford, right, and he makes a mistake in the 10th minute,
Yeah.
how's he gonna come back from that mentally? So you already think that you're getting dominated. So when you're a trusted player, when you are a battle tested player, and you make a mistake, you know that more times than not you're a solid player and you're a good player, and you can make a mistake and you can keep going on and on and on like nothing, like nothing's happening. But when it's a player like Hector Ford, if he makes a mistake in the beginning of the game, that is a big problem going forward.
Yeah, real talk. Hey, big up my guy Normsky TV, right? Big Arsenal fan also here. Hey, Arsenal, you know what? It's not impossible, right? I predicted a Barca Arsenal final. I don't know if you guys will get through. I don't know if we'll get through, right? I think we will, but hey, man, nothing's impossible. This guy also said Arsenal is the worst team out of the four. Probably, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
But they are
listen,
the most organized. They
Yeah, you
are the
guys are
most
organized, but you
organized.
guys, no offense, right? I'm not trying to offend you guys. You guys lack some quality, bro, in attack. Where you guys should truly punish PSG, make them pay for their mistakes. Martinelli, right? You got to score that chance, right? I feel like that Arsenal. It's you guys, and then that's poor recruitment. But listen, that's a topic for another day about Arsenal. I hope y'all go through though, just maybe for scenes, bro. I got a lot of Arsenal fans around my area too. But listen, big up to the chat, right? We're actually gonna move on to the next topic, right? Probably the last topic of today, the Real Valladolid game, right? Because don't get it twisted. When you're in a title race, Hansi Flick legit said it. These games are as big as the big games. It's absolutely true. Real Valladolid, I don't care if they're already relegated, right? For you Premier League fans, they're like the Southampton. They're like the Southampton of La Liga. They're already relegated. They're absolutely awful. They concede a bunch of goals. But you know what? You got to win this game because the last thing I want is that we rotate. Fair enough. I want to rotate, but we have to win this game, right? And Hansi Flick, I feel like because of the insurance policy, he wants to get this dub. I think that, what do you think about Pedri starting? For me, I'm kind of against it, but I understand why. But I'm against it ultimately. Why? Is Gavi really not that good? Is Eric Garcia? Is Pablo Torre? Right? You have so many guys, Hansi Flick. I'm against this. I'm not going to lie. I think if there's a guy that you want to start, why not start maybe a Raphinha? You know, Raphinha looks like he's got absolute legs, you know, maybe a Ferran. But I don't think Pedri, I think it's a dumb decision. Imagine if he gets injured. Pedri's already come out to the media and said that he feels a little bit tired after some games. Bro, I'm questioning this. I can't lie, but I think we're going to win if Pedri starts, though. So I won't be too mad at the end of the day, as long as he doesn't get injured. But what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, when this news broke, I actually tweeted it out. I said, I hope this doesn't come back to bite us, because not only we are not resting his legs, but what if he gets injured? God forbid. You know, what if something happens? Those are the things that we need to be thinking about when it comes to such an important player. Imagine he was a virtuoso in the first half. 8.0 SOFA score at the end of the game. That was incredible performance by Pedri Gonzalez, and we cannot afford not to have him. And not only that, but he actually got subbed because he was getting tired at the end of the game. So we need to save him. I actually disagree with having Pedri Gonzalez. I do think that Hansi Flick, I see where he's coming from. The very few times that Barcelona failed to get results in the Liga is because we rested players since the beginning. I think he learned a big lesson.
Yes.
The first time that he rested players was against the Osasuna, the first game,
Osasuna.
where we got beat 4-2. That game against Osasuna, even Flick said it himself. I have never forgotten this. He said, I thought I could trust my team. I made a mistake. He took full accountability, right? So I think this is Flick second guessing, but also respecting La Liga and saying any game, any day, any team can beat you, and I need to have my guy Pedri Gonzalez. But I do think that we need to be rotating almost everybody. Why not have a player like Gavi? Why not have a player like Fermin Lopez and try to
What
give?
about me? Like I think why not put Pablo Torre out there? Pablo Torre for me has actually, remember in the beginning of the season when we had so many injuries,
Well, he
right?
doesn't play Pedri position, but he can play
I
number
know, but
10.
Pablo Torre. My point is, Torre. I seen the reports. Ansu Fati is probably set to start. Ter Stegen is set to start. Right? There's a lot of guys. Maybe even Christensen, Gerard Martin. Right? But why not Pablo Torre? You know what I'm saying? I don't want Pedri to get injured. I think that you gotta trust your roster. I know what you mean against Osasuna. That game, I remember visually. We got slapped. That's probably the one game we got dominated, right? They played like Barcelona. We played like, like a relegation side. And they made us look bad because of the players that we had out there. But at the end of the day, right? I don't know, bro. It's, you know what? The truth is this, bro. Barca volume. If we can come out next week, a win versus Valladolid for sure, right? Get through in the UCL semis, and we also beat Real Madrid or even draw because we're up 4 points. Yo, we take that. You know what I'm saying? We take that because at this stage of the season, let's be real, right? Like we don't have that squad depth of like some other teams. It's the truth. We don't have quality squad depth. We have 2-3 guys off the bench who are solid, but we don't have mad depth. And this is the thing where Laporta, Deco, they have to go in the transfer window. But, credit Hansi, he's made the most out of the players. He just has to get through it. At the end of the day, this is why you get paid. And this time, hey, if Hansi Flick can get us through this, man, I'll be shocked and I'll be surprised, but I'll be super happy. Big up to Yusuf. He said 5-0 win tomorrow. I don't know, bro. What are you saying for tomorrow? Your score prediction, though.
Yeah, so I think tomorrow Barcelona has to win. There's no ifs and buts about it. It doesn't matter who's out there. We have a player who can literally recover his confidence in Ansu Fati. I want Ansu Fati to start tomorrow. I want to see him again. I thought he had a pretty good game. The last time he played, he actually played a lot better and with a lot
Yes,
more confidence than I thought he was. And I'm saying like even Fermin Lopez, the Gavi's, this game should be a rout, at least 3-0, 3.
I think
Maybe
maybe I think a 3-0 or like I think it's gonna be like it's gonna sound weird. Maybe like we don't play fantastic, but we score three because
it,
Valladolid are just not
this
that
team
good.
is like they allowed like maybe like 85,
80, I
80,
think it's 80 something goals. Like
80
it's
something goals,
ridiculous.
and the second team has allowed 50. So they have allowed
Yeah, yeah.
30 more goals.
Remember, we scored 7 on them in the 7-0 at home. So Valladolid, I think we win 3-0, maybe 4, depending if we put in Raphinha or Yamal later in the game, which we shouldn't. But sometimes he does that handsy flick. I can't lie. But listen, at the end of the day, get the job done. No injuries. Let's move on because Balde, Lewandowski, these guys might be coming back, but then you lose Koundé. Dude, too many injuries this season, bro. I'm telling you, this season, I love it, but it feels too
Dude,
emotional. You know what I'm saying?
Conde literally played for 2 years without resting a single game,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he gets injured. He even posted on Instagram, right? He or was it Twitter where he said, it's unfortunate. He's feeling really really down on himself because
Hey,
he
you
had
know
been
what?
healthy for so long, and right now when we need him at the final stretch of the season, but the good thing is we can get him back for the end of the season.
Yeah, hey, Barca volume. Before we end off, I want to talk about. Let's read the chat real quick, and then also let's do a quick 11 that you probably put out there, like just me and you combined. This guy Rafai, big up to you. He said, "Why not Araujo at right back?" I think he's talking about the Inter Milan game, not the
Yeah.
Valladolid. In my opinion, I just think that Araujo as a right back doesn't give us enough going forward. That's the truth. Like Koundé is more technically competent, and I don't know. I don't even think that Inter are threatening through the sides. Really, DeMarco maybe, but he's coming in very late. It's mainly Thuram that we need to deal with. That's why Araujo needs to start for me. And big up Jordan, right? You said basically we need a controller. If Pedri doesn't start, Frankie De Jong has to. That's exactly what I would do. I'll probably start Frankie and maybe a Ferran. You know what I'm saying? And I would keep the rest of them backups. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that. And yeah, also he said Real Sociedad is another game we got dominated. You're right. Those are the 2 games this season that we got dominated. But hey, big up to the chat, right? Get your chats in. We're gonna do quickly. Let's do a lineup for tomorrow. So what are you saying? Like the goalkeeper, Ter
Yeah.
Stegen's already confirmed to start.
Yeah,
But
Ter
back line.
Stegen.
Let's say back line.
Yeah, so I think backline, I definitely start Araujo. He's a player that needs to be playing these games. He has been resting a
Yeah,
lot.
Rajo is gonna start for
I
sure.
would definitely start with Ford as a right on the right. Um, See, I don't know if we should have Eric or Kubarsi. I
No, no,
definitely
no.
think
You can't
Kubarsi
play
is still.
Kubarski. You can't play
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kubarski.
I guess so. I mean, I guess if you're trying to rotate every single player, right, as much as you can, Kubarsi could be a player that you can be rotated if you don't. If
Or
you
you could do an Eric Garcia because he's good at passing. You can do an Eric Garcia, and then after that, right, you can do Eric Garcia Araujo, and you can put Hector for right back,
yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
solid.
yeah. And real quick to that point on Araujo, I think the fact that Balde's coming back, it's kind of a blow for him because Martinez would have played on the left back and Araujo would have played on Tuesday because we need that size. We need the size that he has, even though he's not great on the air as much as he should. He has given up goals in corner kicks as well. But at the same time, we need that body there. So it's a little unfortunate on Araujo's side that he
Facts.
cannot play because Balde comes back and then the combo, right? Martinez and Kubarsi, we cannot go
Yeah.
away from that. And the right back, I don't like him as much because he's not as good on the ball as he needs to be for that position in
I think
particular.
Martin's gonna start left back. I think because this guy, Big Up Yusuf, he said Balde to sub in. I just don't know if that's gonna happen, right? I think that Jared Martin's gonna be left back, Fort right back. I think Eric Garcia Araujo is gonna be the center backs. In the midfield, I said De Jong's the one starter I'll play. I'll play Gavi, and you'd have to assume Fermin. Fermin's been getting the nod
Yeah,
over Pablo
yeah.
Torre
For
all year.
me, I would definitely look at Torres for the Pablo Torres for
Torre
this
needs to get
game.
subbed on though, because you know what? I don't care. I'll just say it. People think, listen, there's specific players on Barcelona teams that I just like. I like Pablo Torre. I think he's a
Yeah,
smart
I
player.
love Pablo Torres.
I
I
think he's
think
a
he's
smart
very
player.
cool.
I think a
Very good.
manager. I don't know why, bro. If Hansi Flick, you know what? If it was a grade this season, I'll give you a 97%.
Oh!
Because
Somebody,
you're not
somebody
playing
just
Torre,
just
man.
put it. Somebody just put it on the chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Christensen. Yes, Christensen. I want to start Christensen for Valladolid
No,
game because
I'll sub him.
I
I'll sub
want
him.
to.
I
I
just because
want
he's
to
so
see.
injured, bro.
I want to see like the form that he's in. I want to see if I can use him for Tuesday. I want to see a few things. So I definitely think that he should be considered to start this game against Valladolid. I would probably I think like I said, in my opinion, I would rest Kubarsi. I would put in Christensen, maybe put in Araujo. I would try to do a lot of changes. As far as the midfield, I do agree. I would say Frankie de Jong,
Gavi,
Gavi,
Fermin, probably right.
Fermin, and
And
then
then sub in Torre, probably
Ans-
right.
we can have Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, and just try to see if
Is it
that
Raphinha? Like, that's the thing. Attack's the hardest one to rotate because you'll have to play one of your big three right now: Ferran, Lamine, or Raphinha. You got to play one of them. I think play Raphinha.
I would play Rafinha on the right and have Ansu Fati on the left and have Ferran Torres up front.
Oh, I don't think. You know what? He might do that. That's very possible. I think Pau Victor. Maybe it's a start for him. You know, I think Fati, left wing.
Yeah,
Pau
yeah.
Victor was
Paul
amazing.
Victor is a good.
Yeah, I'll put what's it called, Pau Victor to start, and then I'll probably put Rafinha on the right, and then maybe subbing a Ferran, maybe subbing Torre, maybe subbing for me Christensen because I don't know if he's gonna start. That and then maybe a guy like I don't know who else he's gonna sub in. To be honest, if the game's in trouble, you sub in a Lamine Yamal, but it looks like Pedri's gonna start. It is what it is. But hey, before we
I
wrap,
hate
right?
it.
There's some questions, right? Let's answer a few questions, guys. If you guys want any questions, real quick, 3-4 minutes, get your questions in about Barca before we wrap, right? He said Barca volume, right? What do you think about a touchline winger with skill? He said Leao, Rodrigo, Barcola, or a winger to make sure our press doesn't get weaker after a long season. Luis Diaz, he's talking about. I mean, in general, what type of left winger do you want? Because I never got your opinion. If it's just a one thing,
I think
take out Rodrigo. Take out Rodrigo. Just to
yeah,
be kind of
to me, Luis Diaz is out of the question. I don't think Luis Diaz is the kind of player that we should be going for. I actually love the Lookman, the guy from Atalanta. I love that signing not only because
yes.
he can come in the second half. He doesn't have to start. He's not an egocentric player. Most of these players that are mentioned in this comment are players who are divas, are players who want to start, who are expecting to start. And if we want to have Raphinha on the left wing, we cannot be getting the Luis Diaz of the world, the Barcolas, the Rodrigos. I actually don't hate Rodrigo for Barca, to be honest with you. I don't hate him just because he is a left winger. We don't have a left winger. Raphinha is actually a right winger, but just the fact that we have Raphinha, right? But let's say in a hypothetical world where we don't have Raphinha, then Rodrigo fits the profile. But we do have him. So to me, it would be more. I really like looking into Lookman because Lookman is a player who can,
and he's cheaper. His contract situation.
Cheaper. He can.
On top of it, look at his age. Like I think he's in his prime. On top, Lookman is a smart player. And I don't. The thing about Nico, I understand Nico would fit in Spain. Nico is good, but I don't like Nico Williams overall as a footballer. Like overall talent, everything. Yeah, I don't know if he's the guy.
I love Nico. Like if it was up to me, I would sign him. I do think that he's very, very good. But the problem is we cannot do the same thing that Real Madrid is doing. It's just getting more left wingers just because you want to get them because it's like a whim. You want to just get because you want to get. No, it's what you need. It's what you need to do. You have a Raphinha who's having a Ballon d'Or season. You got to give him one more season to see what he can do next season and just bring him a sub. Bring him Lookman.
You know where it is? Lookman, right? This guy's 50. I've seen reports of even down to 30 million, Lookman would be cheaper than Nico. And honestly, if you ask me in my heart of hearts, I think he's better. I genuinely believe he's better, more
Yeah.
talented. So it is what it is, right? Real quick, we'll probably answer like two more, right? I said on a different note, what do you think about the Travis Scott collab? I think it's sick. Listen, I'm not
I
gonna
love
lie.
it.
All of our designs have been solid, except for remember the one with the tongue? You remember the
Yeah.
one with the tongue? That
Yeah.
one was disgusting. That was
That
like, get out of here.
the was that the Chili Peppers or
Was it
was
a
that
Rolling Stones? I think
the
it was Rolling
Rolling
Stones.
Stones? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my God. Whoever decided, and we lost. I knew we were losing once we put that on our kick. What is this, bro? Why would you put a tongue on a football jersey? That doesn't even make sense. But listen, I mean, hey,
That
also
was
big
sick,
Yusuf,
man.
he's saying Gyökeres. To be honest, I said I hope we get a striker in the summer, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think their club is gonna rely on Lewandowski for one more year, and I think we're probably gonna get Isak next year. That's truly what I think is gonna happen. But it is what it is, bro. Right? I mean, what do you think about the striker situation?
Yeah, I love the Gyökeres profile for this Barca team, but it's a little unrealistic just in the sense that Lewandowski had a really good season. He's earned the right to get one more season, especially with the connection between Hansi Flick and Lewandowski. It's his guy. It was his guy at Bayern Munich, and he's going to give him one more shot, especially with Ferran Torres playing the way he did. I think
Yeah,
Barca would be more pressured to get a striker if Ferran Torres wasn't having the kind of season that he's having. So because that
facts.
success, I think we're gonna have to live with the number 9 position with Ferran and Lewandowski going in the next season. But I do love the idea of having Gyökeres. He's a very, very good talented player.
Yeah, bro. I understand. They understand. Like, listen, Isak, this guy said not leaving Newcastle. Listen, I don't think you know about the Barcelona pull. One phone call to Newcastle. Yo, buddy, hey, stop coming to training.
Now
And you
he
know
made a
what? The
mistake.
guy, he's gonna turn his
He
head, man.
resigned his contract, so he made it tough on himself leaving.
Yeah. It's
Resign.
gonna
Once you
be tough,
resign,
bro. Don't get me wrong. I'm not deluded. It's gonna be very, very difficult. They have UCL, of course, so he's probably not
they
gonna
have
leave.
money. They have money.
They have money also, so it's the only way he would ever want to leave is if he wants to. But I think we're a big club. Like respectfully to Newcastle, bro, players dream about coming to Barca. I don't know
Yeah.
outside of the Newcastle area who dreams there. I don't know. I respect genuinely. I'm not trying to troll you guys, right? But listen, before we wrap, right? Said your thoughts on Ekatike. Before you go, I just don't think he's ready to be honest. But it is what it is, right? What do you think
Yeah,
about it?
yeah. No, I think he's a good player. I think Barcelona can do things with him, but it's not the right time for a player like him. Not at this time, not this moment. Not with players that we have right now in our squad, and like I said, we're not gonna go after a striker this offseason. I would be shocked if we make a crazy signing like a Holland that people are saying on Twitter,
Yeah,
and
facts.
this is just smoke. It's just like
Yeah.
rumors.
I feel
Rumors are
like no,
rumors.
they just get bored and then you know what I'm saying? They just want to get their fans high. We put on a show for you guys over an
That
hour and
was
15
fun, man.
minutes. You know what I'm saying?
It was a
Listen,
lot of
if
fun.
you buy, it's easy to talk Barca. You know what I'm saying? Big up to everybody. Guys, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at what I'm at right now 868. Can we at least get 2 or 3 people right now to get to 870? And also, Barca Volumes channel is legit in the title, right? By the time he checks his channel, he better at least go up a bit too. So listen, once you're back, right? Maybe the next time we speak, hopefully a UCL semi,
Yeah,
hopefully La Liga's wrapped up.
yeah.
Maybe next week, maybe the week after, we'll talk about the other news. There's always news with Barcelona. Even when we were bad, there's always news. But guys, listen, that's it for me, right? I will see y'all in the next one. Watch along tomorrow for Real Valladolid. Have your post notifications out. I'll post about it, and we will be there for the watch along, even if it's the B team. We're here, you know what I'm saying? Consistency. So I'll see y'all. Like us up, subscribe, and peace, people. Visca Barca.